Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Let's Color. So let's color. I hope you're all doing good. It is March already. I was thinking about that this morning, going, oh my gosh, it's March already. And so that's why I thought we needed a beautiful angel and we needed to be reminded I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I want each and every one of you, if you would, if you would humor me for a moment, to just put your hand over your heart, maybe both of your hands over your heart, and take a nice deep breath, just breathing in and just say, I am beautiful. Because you truly are. Beauty is a multifaceted, multidimensional thing. So many of us think beautiful is just, oh, is my face beautiful or is my body beautiful? Society gets us hooked into that, and that's fine, whatever you're into. But we have to remember that beauty is not just on the outside, beauty is on the inside. And we are all intrinsically beautiful. We're created from beauty. We're beautiful. And so that's why I wanted to do this page today. I thought we needed a sweet angel with beautiful flowers and to be reminded, each and every one of us to be reminded that we are beautiful inside and out for whoever, whatever we are. So let's get coloring. I wanted to show you our swatch today because we're using, or I'm going to use, my Castle Arts coloring pencils, colored pencils. I love them. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I love my Castle Arts. They're so good. I got a couple extra ones here. I got extra pink and yellow because I just use a lot of pink and yellow. So I'm going to put those over here and swatching. And I wanted to talk a minute about swatching. I've talked about it a little bit before, but if you have colored pencils, if you have markers, if you have anything that you're using, sometimes when you look at the pencil or like this one right here, this one is called uh, sky blue. And so over here we look at sky blue. Well, when I look at the pencil, I'm thinking it's more like a turquoise color. I should do this so you can see it. Um, I'm thinking it's more of like a turquoise color when I look at it. Now, when I look at it on the swatch, it matches pretty good. But when I look at it elsewhere, when I look at it maybe from under light, I'm thinking it's more turquoise. So it's really good to take whatever you're doing. And I've done this for this set. I have a couple other sets of um, colored pencils. I've got the markers that are Ohuhu markers. And I need to be doing these swatches. So I'm looking, you can buy like books that have the swatch things in them. This comes with the Castle Arts thing, which is why it's done already. But I'm going to start doing some swatching. Swatching is fun just in and of itself as a coloring activity, too. It can be really meditative. So I just wanted to play with you, just let you know about this. So let's get started. Let's get started. Look at this. I got my three favorite colors out. I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't even mean to do that. So my little yellow needs to be sharpened. I have a big sharpener out in my painting studio, and I probably should bring it in here and just get that sharpens it so much better. So let's take a look at I am beautiful. I am beautiful. You am beautiful too. I always have an eraser on hand as well in case we do some boo-boos or want to clean up some edges. And we have selenite crystal and our labradorite with us today. Isn't that beautiful? I love this one. I love crystals. I do a lot of this kind of stuff. This little baby is called a selenite sword. It's got a whole story and beautiful thing in and of itself where this is selenite and this is a handle that is made with like 400 different crystals. It's got a vial in the middle with drops from all these sacred places, like rivers and waters around the world, like Lourdes and Lake Titicaca and all these beautiful places. And then it's got a Lemurian seed crystal at the end, and it's a healing tool. And I use it to do energy healing with people, and it's like amazing. So I always like to sprinkle you guys with a little bit of that stuff too, because that's part of my world, and it's where all this stuff came from. Was my interest in what makes people feel wonderful and healthy and well, and what reminds them that they are beautiful. And I think coloring does. It helps get us out of our head. It helps get us out of the 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 hamster wheel that so many of us are stuck on, you know? We just get stuck on this thing and we need to pull ourselves out. It's so healthy for mind, body, and soul to pull yourself out and remember that you are this beautiful, wonderful, and truly angelic being that is so much more than the hurry scurry of life. So that's what we're doing today. I have the my little favorite ones over here, my neon ones over here. We'll see if they come in handy. So where do we want to start? You know, I always like to start with the flowers just to kind of get it rolling a little bit. So let's see. You know, I was really inspired. I think these kind of pencils are a lot of times, ooh, look at that pretty color. I'm bringing that out. We're going to add that to our amazing. We got this one too. If we got both of these beautiful, like apricot colors. One is called peach and one is called coral. We're going to use peach right now. And I kind of want to bring these ones in. I want to start with these little flowers up here. I keep telling you guys I'm going to find out what all these different flowers are because so many of the things that I make are have flowers in them because I love flowers. I just love flowers. Look at that. That's a good color for that, isn't it? And so what happens when we first start coloring is a lot of times we're kind of still in our head, right? We're still caught up in thinking, you know, where do I start? What do I do? Did I remember to walk the dog? Did I turn off the oven? You know, we all do that. We all do that. We're still in our head. We're still in that mode. And that's okay. But what's so wonderful about coloring is it gets you out of that mode. It gets you out of that think in the mind, and it gets you more into the body. And that's kind of what coloring does to start, is it connects your mind to your body. It connects your mind to the emotions and to the soul, if you will, and to the body. And it kind of gets everything back on track, all working together. But it takes a few minutes. It takes about 5 minutes, depending on who you are, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. But that's okay because we just get started, right? We just get started. And remember, these are our colorings, these are what we want to do. And you don't have to use realistic colors. You don't have to use realistic colors. And here's another thing that's kind of cool too. You know, if you're in a particularly not happy mood, maybe you want your colors, your flowers to be black, right? Nothing wrong with that. Coloring in art is about expressing yourself, getting your feelings out. Because a lot of times we don't have anywhere else to do it. You know, we're all kind of told that you got to keep all that in, right? Because some of it's really crazy. Some of it can turn us feral really quick, right? So we keep a lid on that, but we need to express, and expressing creatively is a wonderful way to get those kind of energies out, get them out of the system. So I'm going to do these kind of flowers kind of in different colors because I know that these kind of flowers come in different colors. And I'm not necessarily going to keep them even in the same color range, but I'm also famous for saying that, and then I do. But down here at the bottom, down right here at the bottom, there are some roses. And I really want these roses to be a sweet pink. I want to keep, got that. I want to keep this picture kind of sweet, right? And it's part of how I feel about myself when I think I am beautiful. I think of and I feel and I want to recapture that feeling of kind of innocence, of sweetness. It's part of the reason I chose this angel for this statement because we all have a sweet, innocent part of us that, was had to be put aside oftentimes, to grow up. You know, adult life isn't particularly sweet. It's kind of rough and tough. We have to learn to be kind of rough and tough and learn the truth of life, quote unquote, learn maybe a little bit of the facts of what some people do, just some of these things, these harsh truths that aren't fun. They aren't fun to know. They aren't happy truths, but they are part of growing up and they're part of it. But there's always still that sweetness and that innocence underneath knowing those things. And it's important to acknowledge that. It's important to acknowledge that there's a part of us, that is very sweet and innocent and to honor that. And that's what we're doing today. We're honoring our sweetness. We're honoring our beauty. We're honoring that part of us that is so important and so beautiful and amazing. And I just love that. And so when I'm sitting here and looking at this, I'm also seeing these pretty little flowers over here. And I almost want to bring in like a pretty purple for them. And I'm trying to see, do I want this purple? What one is that? This is lavender. That's this purple right here. I kind of like that one for this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring all of these little, this is a fun little, it's a fun little color. And this is a fun little area to color here too. And there's these sweet little flowers that are right here that are just kind of like, oh, just hanging out. Just hanging out. And remember too, when we're coloring that, again, this is your coloring. You can do whatever colors you want. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Although sometimes it's nice to have suggestions, especially if you're just first starting to color. I've had a lot of people contact me and say that they've really enjoyed this because they've never colored before, or maybe haven't colored since they were very young. And so that's really, really fun. And so sometimes it's good to color along, to do what I do, to choose the colors. But also, remember, this is your, I almost said painting. I always say that painting. This is your picture. This is your coloring. This is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You can have whatever colors you want. And if we were all going to be professional artists and all that stuff, we'd be worried about the color palette and all that stuff. But you know what? For this, for our let's color, let's just color for the sheer pleasure of it all. Let's just color because we love colors. Let's just color because color is fun. You know, color brings beauty. And I'm not talking about coloring necessarily, although it does, but color itself. And so it's really important for you to make sure that you use the colors that you like, you know, that you feel good about. Do you feel good about the colors that you're using? Does it feel right? Not is it perfect for the picture, but does it make you feel good? Like you guys will find after we've been coloring together for a while that I use a lot of the same colors because they make me happy. You know, I had someone ask me one time, "Why? How come you never use red?" I'm like, I don't know. I think it's because red isn't one of my happy colors, and red is notoriously a little bit more active, um, vibrant, passionate color. And I think part of my coloring these days is to find that sweetness and that gentleness and that in myself again. And so that's probably why I don't use it. Doesn't mean I never will. It just means right now that's what I need. And I'd love for you guys to give yourself permission to color in that way too, right? Color what you need right now. Color what feels good. Color what makes you feel happy, you know? And like I said, none of us are going to become famous artists from this. You're not coloring to please anybody else. You don't have to color so that your coloring book pages will sell and how you make a living, right? We're doing this for pleasure. We're doing this for fun, for the sheer enjoyment of it. So let's do that. Let's do the parts that make us happy. Do the parts that make us feel beautiful and be creative too, you know? It's like this is yours. You can do what you want. Like up here, I'm not sure what kind of flower this is. So I'm pretending that these roses, they're down here, but one of them snuck up here. One of them snuck up here. And also right here, I think this is supposed to be greenery, but I'm making it be a bud. I want more pink over here. I don't want just all greenery. I want more pink. So I can do that. It's mine. It's mine. I can do what I want with it. And now remember, as we're coloring too, we're going to go back in and put some wonderful accents and stuff in. I've got my little floor heater. I noticed in some of the videos you can hear it, and I apologize, but it's still chilly and I need my little floor heater. One thing to do too that will help you find more pleasure, if you will, in your paintings is to think about like we've got a lot of pink over here, so we want to put a little bit of pink over here, you know, just to kind of balance things out. But again, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. We give ourselves permission to do what we want to do. And I'm going to bring some more of this beautiful coral down here. I'm going to fill in like almost like some of these pieces that are kind of behind, but I want to get this color in here, kind of establish it in here. I want to feel what it feels like. How many of you guys color kind of by feel, if that makes sense? Like that's one thing that I do when I'm coloring. I'm kind of feeling the colors. Like, do these colors feel good here? Does this feel good here? Does this feel good here? Right? And bringing that in and bringing that beautiful feeling in it, because being creative requires us to kind of feel what we're doing. That's part of the beauty of it, is we feel our way through this experience. And so don't just stay in your mind about everything. It's where the mind and body connects up. Yummy. It's where the mind and body connects up here. And this is so cool. Look at that so far. We got all kinds of beautiful colors. We're getting all of these fun flowers in here. Trying to see what other color for flowers do we want. I'm going to bring a little bit of green in. I'm going to use a real basic green. This one is called Castle Green. Love this one. So it's this color right here. It's this one up at the top. So it's just a good old-fashioned green. And I'm going to bring a little bit of green in here. When I do the green, it always gives me this feeling of kind of like where I know things are going. And also remember, when we do the green, we're not going to make everything the same exact green color, right? We're going to use several different greens. But I just like to kind of just get that feeling, get a little foliage in there. And in this grayscale part too, sometimes this green, it'll look a little bit different. That's one of the things I love about the grayscale. When I first started designing color books, I used to be like, I hate this grayscale. I don't want grayscale. I want none of that in there. It's not making me happy and I don't want it. But I found that in making and allowing the grayscale, it allowed for more depth of coloring, if you will. It's like it allowed more shading and depth. And so I stopped fighting it. I stopped fighting it and I let myself just be like, okay, there's going to be some of this in here. And when I did that, when I kind of let go of being controlling, I found that I really liked it, because we, even with the green here, right, when we have it up in here, it's a little bit different color green and it allows for that. So I went ahead and did that. I fought for a long time because I use AI to kind of start out my coloring pages, like when I'm designing my color books and stuff. And I know it's really, really controversial, but I find that I can create such beautiful pieces using that, because I'm not really an artist. I couldn't draw this angel. I can draw some of the flowers and stuff around it, but I couldn't really draw the angel. And you know what? I put some green in and I just noticed, lo and behold, there's a rose back in here. One of my little roses snuck in. And so I can fill that in there. That's why I like start playing with the green a little bit too. Starts adding some more flavor, some more spice to the picture. And remember, when we do this, we will come back through. We'll add highlights, we'll add colors. We might even color over some things. We might find that something that we colored yellow, that maybe we decide we wanted a different color. And we can do that later on too. And you know what's really pretty is I'm seeing right here by her hand, there's another one of these, a little bit more like these kind of flowers right here. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Now, notice that we got a lot of yellow here, but we don't have any yellow over here. But do we need it? You know, it's kind of like, do we need it? I'm going to use a little bit lighter of this peachy color here for these big fluffy ones. And I have a feeling we're going to come through and kind of highlight some of these. Some of these, maybe even bringing in some yellow to go over it. I'm bringing, yeah. And also for those of you who are watching this, who haven't done this before, I am the center of all of this stuff is over on Patreon, and it's where you'll get this free page. I give the free page out there. Joining the Patreon is free. You don't have to join a tier. You just go over there and you just sign up. And then you can get the free page. You can get this free video that we do every week. And we can color together and have fun together. And I'm really enjoying it. What I do is I leave the videos up for a couple of weeks so new people can come in and see what's there. You can print out some pages maybe from a couple of weeks ago and watch the video stuff, so you have that. And then once they're about a month long, I do put them behind what is called a paywall. So I do have a $10 a month um, option in there. And with that option, you get to have all of the videos that we've done in the past. So I do this every week. So basically, after a year, you'll have a 52-page coloring book colored, all for free. I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of fun. I like doing it that way. I like I like having the freebie thing. I really do. I like having it that way, and coming and joining with you guys, and just having this fun time together. So we've got a lot of orange in this. And so I will probably do what I always do is bring some more yellows and blues as highlights in here. So I'm getting tired of the orange up here. It's like I'm kind of getting bored with it. So I'm going to bring some purple up here. See, we got this purple down here with kind of this pansy looking thing. So I'm just going to bring some more purple up here. And I'm going to bring some more yellow up here too. There's a little something here that looks like one of these little star-shaped flowers. So I'm going to bring that up here. Bring a little bit of this. It kind of doesn't make sense, really. It doesn't totally make sense, but it does when you look at the coloring, right? It does when you look at what's happening here. Oh, got a little bit more purple. And let me show you what I mean by kind of bringing some other colors in as highlights. And you guys, a lot of you guys have been coloring with me for a while. But we can do like with these orange ones that kind of seem like they're all kind of fading together. Well, we can take a deeper color. And what I'm doing right now is I'm using this darker pink. And this is from the little bunch that I bought that are called, what are they called? Cezanne. And I bought just pink and just yellow because I use so much of those colors. So this is the Cezanne brand. They are not the Castle Art, although they're very lovely. So what we do is we start doing some highlights. And I'm doing it right now just on some of these, the lighter color peach that I did. But what it does is it helps them to begin to stand out because we got a lot of the same kind of color next to each other and everything kind of starts blending in. So this is how we bring these colors back out. This is how we get this to stand out again and to be its own flower, right? And we'll do that with a lot of them. Oh, my nose is itchy. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Get that a little bit closer. See how we've got that there? We've just kind of outlined it. And we got this one over here. See, just outlining it a little bit. It makes it stand out, right? Because these are all kind of the same color, but it makes them stand out. And so we're going to do that. I always like to, a lot of times when we get towards the end, bring some yellow and kind of put some yellow over the top of everything. It brightens everything up. But I save that for the end so that we can kind of see what's going on, right? Oh, everybody take a nice deep breath. Just kind of check in. How are you feeling? You're starting to feel relaxed. You know, when I do this, because we are doing a video, I always feel a little bit like I should be chatting. Sometimes it's like we just want to be still and quiet too. It's kind of part of the fun of the coloring, right? I know I have my little heater, and I know on the videos I've noticed that you can hear the video in the back, or the heater in the background. I apologize for that, but it's chilly, but it's starting to warm up. Starting to warm up, so it won't be there forever. Soon it'll be the cooling fan. It'll be the ceiling fan instead. But you know what? We're all just humans here. We're all just being humans. I know a lot of times with the YouTube videos and stuff, because this is starts on YouTube and then it's, you know, I'm gonna do this one in pink. But this starts on YouTube. I do it on YouTube so that it can be shown over on my Patreon channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. And you can get your little free coloring thing over on my Patreon, which is patreon.com Sacred Space Coloring Corner. Sacred Space Coloring Corner. Our coloring is the sacred experience, right? Because we're kind of, you know, when you're coloring and doing artistic stuff, you're kind of connecting up with that, you know, what some people call the God self. Ooh. I just feel like I heard somebody say, hey, when are we going to color the angel? We're getting there. We're getting there. I just wanted to get a little bit of a structure around the angel by doing some of the flowers and stuff. So now it's kind of like she's framed, right? It's like she's framed by the beautiful flowers. And we'll go back and we'll detail out the flowers. But now we can look at the angel and we can look at her and we can say, what colors do we want? Because we're going to have a lot of colors in the dress, right? We're going to have, you know, it's going to be, you know, I'm looking at pink because that's my favorite. I'm looking at what beautiful pink color can we use, and do we use a light pink or a more vibrant pink? Oh, I'm looking at this one right here. It might be kind of dark. This is like an orchidy pink, purple light. Purple light. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And when you color it lightly, it's a kind of a sweet color there. I think that's what we're going to use. I'm calling it like an orchid color because I feel like it's an orchid. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a whole lot of this orchidy color right here, and that's okay, but I'm going to start out just simply by coloring it very lightly. And now when we're doing swirly things like how this gown is has a lot of motion in it, color with the grain. Color with how everything is kind of swoopy and swirly. That'll give you a little bit more of a feeling of the motion. You're not fighting against it. Like if you were to just color everything across like that, you'll kind of lose the feeling of the motion, of the flow of this beautiful dress that she's wearing. And I'm doing this very lightly right now. I'm doing it very lightly. Because we'll probably go back through and add some highlights. Now I'm going to turn her. Also, don't forget to turn your picture and stuff too, right? So I'm going to turn her a little bit here. You guys get to see her sideways because when I do this, the way I have it set up is I'm doing this sideways. I want to get the flow of this dress, right? I want to make sure I can color with the flow. Ooh, this is so pretty. And it's fun when we start getting to the main character, right? It's funny when you start getting to the main. But even that is subjective in art. Maybe the flowers are the main characters, right? Maybe the flowers are just the little main characters. Maybe none of this has anything to do with this angel. Oh, look how pretty that is. How pretty. I'm going to turn it again so I can get over here. And again, I started saying too, and it's important. It's really good to remember to turn your page too when you're coloring and stuff. Right? Turn your page. Make sure that you're seeing and looking at everything from all the different directions. And especially in colorings where there's a lot going on like this one. That's why I kind of chose this one. Because there's a lot going on. All the flowers, the different activity. The angel is very prominent in this. But there's a lot of activity with the flowers and stuff too. Right? And you can see that I'm just kind of coloring this just lightly. And I'm actually coloring it a little bit on the side. You see how oops, you see how I have that one side is kind of a little bit flattened? Oop, be a little bit easier. Where it's a little bit flattened, I use that same side to just kind of come in so that it's very soft. And you'll notice I'm not even worrying about getting all of it colored in. I'm leaving a little bit of white space in there. Remember to get all the way over here. All the way over. Her dress comes all the way over this way too. Pretty, pretty. And up here in her hair, she's got these little flowers. And I feel like I want to do some highlight here. I always want to be doing some of this highlight of these flowers that kind of match the color of the dress. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. And most likely, because these flowers are a little bit like these flowers, I'll bring the same orchidy color into that. It'll bring them all kind of together. Ooh. See how it makes that show up? We bring this down here with this. And then we also kind of make a separation a little bit between the dress and these flowers because they're kind of the same color. So we're just going to highlight that for a second. Sometimes giving definition as we go along in some of these areas helps too to define kind of what needs to be colored. And there's no rule of how it needs to be done. You know, there really isn't. I mean, I'm sure there's some coloring people that have like art background and stuff. I'm a little more feral in my coloring. I'm a little more woohoo, let's just get in there and color. But there's not really any rule. And then do it as you see and feel that you want it done. And there's even I did a little bit of this up here. Got my wild one out there. And what I do when I do this highlighting is I follow like some of the lines and the colors that are in the petals and stuff, right? So that's where the grayscale comes in handy, and because you can color over that grayscale. You can bring color in over it. Now we've got something down here. I'm not sure if it's part of her dress. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. This is part of her dress that's over here that's just kind of wrapped up with these roses down here. I'm going to bring a little bit more color in here. Start getting a little bit more filled in. I didn't want it to be too much color at first because I kind of wanted to see how it was all going to work together. Now that we got a little bit of definition around there, isn't that pretty? So now she's got this band up here. She's got like a little buckle or a brooch. She's got this here. I want to go a little bit goofy and bring in like a really pretty turquoise color. I'm going to bring in this turquoise, and I don't know if it's going to go together. So bear with me, guys. So I've got that color that it might work. Got this color that broke. I never fixed it. You guys ever have that happen? Sometimes crayons, I think or not crayons. Well, crayons too, actually, but colored pencils, I think sometimes they get dropped, maybe in shipment. Maybe they get some rough shipment. And they tend to kind of break and not hold. I don't think it's necessarily manufacturing. Ooh, that lighter. I'm not sure what color I want that. I know I do want this to stand out. I want that to stand out. But there's no blue in here. So I think that we are going to have we're going to have part of this be blue. So instead of making it all one color, I'm doing almost like the trim of it. And this one doesn't have it. It's like the foldy parts of it are over. Ooh. See, this is where I get stuck. Where it's like I've got these colors on here. So what would this part in here want to be? This is a lot of times where I get stuck. I want it to be bright. I'm kind of thinking like primary colors, like red and pink, but I want it to be bright. I want it to be like gold. I want it to be like a gold, like the what my grandma used to call bric-a-brac, the bric-a-brac. Like it's all beautiful. So I'm going to use this lighter gold. I'm going to use this lighter yellow. See if that works. We can always color over it. That actually works kind of pretty. It's probably a little bit faded out with what you guys can see there. But then I'm going to bring in right in here, like her little brooch. And I'm going to bring this color, and there's like a texture in the, I'm going to bring this color in it. So it looks like it's all pretty. Very pretty. I like that. Let me see if you guys can kind of see that. Get it a little bit closer. Did that. Now it's all kind of coming along. And we're already at 45 minutes here. I always try to keep these not over an hour, although we usually go over a little bit. But you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to start bringing in some highlighting on her. And I'm going to start following the lines here. Right? So I'm going to start following the lines. These are going to be some of the highlights here. I was going to do a different color, like maybe a blue, because there's not a lot of blue in this picture. But I'm sticking with this. I like this. I like this color. I think this is a very angelic-y color. And also, for those of you that are a little bit intuitive, maybe some of you who work with angels, who do maybe some spiritual work with angels. I'm a angel person. I actually had my training with beautiful Doreen Virtue. I know there's some controversy around her, but you know what? That woman brought angels into the mainstream, and angels are godlike. They are God beings. Ooh, look at my little thing is getting full. So we're going to dump that out real quick here. Oop. All right. Let me get a little bit sharpened edge to do these highlights. And something else too, we got her little flower right here. We can bring highlights into that too. So it's all kind of working together. I'm going to turn to this just a little bit. Oh, look at that. So it's kind of neat. You know, we've got the highlights around here, but they're not being swallowed up in the color, right? It's like the dress is allowed to stand here, to stand alone in all of its beauty. Gonna turn it again, guys. I gotta turn it. And do you need to cover over every line? No. You know, do what feels good to you. Sometimes people like it to be more vivid, more motion, more movement, just more. If you like that, do it that way. Or you can do it just a little bit. And also, again, You can do it with a different color. A blue, like this blue we used here in highlight, would be pretty. I was actually going to do that, but I just changed my mind. I really am enjoying this color. This, what are we calling this? This purple light. I like calling it an orchid. I like using this. It's pretty. It's kind of vibrant, but it's got a lot of like kind of softness to the color itself. But oh, what I was going to say is those of you that work with angels, does this angel have a name for you? You know, maybe this beautiful angel, a lot of times we start doing this kind of stuff. The angelic presence comes closer and we begin to feel that angelic presence around us. So I'd love to know if any of you are feeling angels. If you're feeling angelic, very pretty. So we're going to leave that way. Another thing we need to look at is her hair. It's like, what color do we want her hair? Is she going to be blonde? I think I think because we've got enough grayscale in there, I want to bring a yellow in, but I don't know if I want to bring this really bright yellow. I think I want to do something a little bit more. You know, and I might actually use that same color, just go very light. This color is pretty. This is called cadmium yellow light. So it's a little bit different than this yellow that we've been using, but it's still kind of bright and vivid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just real light. Because I might use a couple different colors in her hair. Right? I might bring in maybe a little bit of a light brown. Right now, I just want to bring. I love how they are so good at making their little tresses like so perfectly curved. And then we've got to think about these wings, guys. How are we going to do these wings? What are we going to do with the wings? I like doing a little bit more of the golden around her forehead. Yeah. So that brings that in there, right? And then let's see, I want to look for a light brown. I don't know if I have kind of a soft light brown. And maybe, baby, we don't need to do, maybe we can do a little blue in her hair. Maybe her hair can start being a little bit magical and beautiful. What about that? Maybe this is where this angelic magic can start showing up, right? For her beautiful. Ooh, I like it. And this might give us an idea of what's going to start being reflected in her wings, too. Look at it. We got the blue in there. Just do some swirlies with the blues. Let's bring some pink in. Ooh, Now the pink is going to show up kind of a lot. I'm using a little bit darker pink. Oh, this is fun. See, this is when it starts getting fun. It's like part of it is getting some of the, like doing the flowers, and I love doing flowers though. Just starts getting all of the pieces coming together. That's the fun of it, really, huh? It's the fun. Really let some of this pink start to show. Ooh, super fun. I'm going to add a little bit more of the pink in here. A little bit more pink. Once we get this pink in here, we'll probably... So she's a rainbow. My friend Dawn is watching. Her granddaughter loves the rainbow. Rainbow is a color. I 100% agree with that. Oh, nice. Look at her pretty rainbow hair. I'll show you guys. And it's very subtle. It's very soft. Isn't that pretty? And now what I really want to do is bring a very soft pink in for the wings. And I just want to bring it in. I want to bring it in really soft like we did. And I'm going to start it up here. As we get down to the lower part of the wings, I might bring in another color, like maybe a blue. So it's almost like these upper wings are pink. These upper feathers are going to be kind of pink. I'm actually going to get a little bit more pink in there. Make that pink a little bit more prominent. And that also matches kind of with our roses down here too. I'm using that same color. So just those first few layers on there. Let's start there. And I'm turning it. This wing is turned a little bit differently. Look at you guys are watching this upside down. That's okay. We're all multi-dimensional. So what I'm doing is kind of, then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to grab this sky blue that we've got a little bit of that. I'm going to bring this in very light. Same color that's in her hair. We don't necessarily have this pink in her hair. But we've got this blue on her dress. I want to bring more of that in there. Ooh, that's so pretty. And we've got a couple layers of feathers here. These wings on this side are a little bit goofy. And you know what I'm kind of feeling, guys? What I'm kind of feeling is this yellow for the rest of these. What do you think? because it's also getting down into the grayscale here. And so it's going to brighten up the grayscale. There's a little leaf showing in her wings. Put some green right there. There's also a little flower right here that I think I'm going to make pink, be like the flower bud there. And this is the Cezanne yellow that I'm using for this. I just really like it. I use it a lot for highlighting and stuff too. Yeah, I like it. Super fun. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this yellow up into the feathers up here. Right? So I'm just kind of bringing the yellow up and just kind of outlining a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm being a little haphazard with it. You know, the yellow is kind of like a golden aura kind of a color, right? I'm doing outside the outline, especially up here where you can really see it. See how pretty that is compared to this wing that I haven't done it on yet. And just bring this yellow. So this is bringing some of those highlights, and it's bringing brightness into it, right? It's like it's bringing the magic up into the feathers. I always associate gold with spirituality, anyways. And so we're just bringing this in here. I always think of gold, kind of like the golden light of the Christ kind of a thing, you know? I work a lot with colors with the angels. And especially, you know, with spiritual aspects of the great masters like Jesus, you know. Ooh. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this kind of yellow aura kind of a thing up around her head. Not like we're giving her a halo so much, but we're giving her a beautiful angelic glow kind of a thing. Filling this in a little bit because she is an angel after all, right? She is an angel after all. Oh, I love it. Look at you, beautiful little angel. I'm going to make her eyes kind of blue. I'm going to put a little blue in there so you can see just a little bit of color coming out. I'm put a little bit of pink on her lips. Put a little blush on her cheeks. Just a little rosy. You can do just a little bit, like just little circles on there. Look at how pretty she is. And then we haven't filled in a lot of the greenery. So let's do that really quick. For those of you that can stick around, hang around for a bit. We're going to add some more color to our greenery. I'm using a bright green, leaf green middle. So leaf green light, leaf green middle. Oops. So using it's kind of an apple green, if you will. And I'm going to go into some of these darker corners in here some of this foliage I see in here, and I'm going to bring this brighter color into it. And there's some little bit of oh, I know I'm supposed to be showing you, and I get all into the coloring. I forget to show you guys. Sorry about that. See, and I'm just bringing this in. And sometimes I even kind of bring it into just the grayscale where there's not really anything else going on. So I'm just doing like really kind of quickly, just bringing this in. So we've got the regular kind of Kelly green, castle green, as Castle calls it, up in here to all of this. And I'm not doing it like really neat right now because a lot of it is grayscale. So it's just kind of bringing color to the grayscale. But it's depicting more of the, the beautiful foliage that's in there with her. And I'm going to bring some more of this down here. Bring it in here. And then I'm going to flip it around and bring some more in here. And if you want to take, some time with this kind of stuff too, if you got a little bit more time, you can, get a different color in here. You can add a deeper, or you can add kind of a bluish green, like a deep teal. I love using the deep teal. Just bringing all this in here. There needs to be lots of green up here. Need some green added. A little bit in here. A little bit here. A little bit here. You start, look at me, start turning it around. You start finding all the little bits and pieces. So then you can start seeing the edges here too that need to be, like everything just kind of needs to be filled in a little bit better now too, right? Get our yellow flowers, we get a good press on coloring that so that they start standing out, right? Start giving these guys some little bit more definition. I'm going to bring some more yellow into her hair. And not everybody likes to bring this much highlight. If you're not like a big highlight person, that's okay. You can do low lights too. What I'm doing with this, you could be doing with, some pretty browns or maybe even silvers and actually like metallics. I have some metallic color pencils and I haven't really played with them. I have them in my other little coloring kit and I need to bring it in here. I've got it in my art studio. I use it on my paintings. I paint with acrylics. I do real abstract stuff. And look at that with her little aura. I love that with her little aura. She's got a little leaf here. I want her to have a little greenery up here. A little green with her flowers. And then here's something that I like to do. I like to take kind of a deeper purpley blue. And I like to go around and like some of these things, like these little roses over here, they don't really have any definition. I like to bring some definition for them. And I think of it almost a little bit like shadow, because when, a flower typically doesn't first of all, come out all one color, right? Especially like roses and that kind of stuff. They have various shades. And then when you see them, there's shades and different lighting and that kind of stuff that happen, which is how we perceive the coloring and stuff. And so it's fun. I get a kick out of being able to do some of the shading and adding that dimension on there. So I'm even going to use this here with these darker orange flowers. And I'm not going to do a ton of it, or maybe I am. Get up here. Get some of this going on here, right? This is part of what makes it, like, gives it more life, kind of a thing, instead of it being really kind of flat. And we did some of these already with the other. We did a little bit of this outlining already. And so we're just coming in, we're giving a little definition, adding some different color because we're using kind of this purpley blue, which is adding a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit more blue into things. Oh, here's one right here. And really, we could probably add a little bit more of that with her wings too, right? We could probably do a little outline with some of her wings. There's already the yellow on there. Whoop, let's do this. And what I like to do too, I also like to bring a little bit of the yellow to kind of just the outer edges of some of the flowers as well, where the sunshine shines on them. And maybe not all of them, maybe just some of them. Look at that. So pretty. I was going to do a little thing right here. I was just going to outline just a few. Not going to outline all of these. It's almost like there's just one level. Yeah. Going to do a little bit of this over here. Just outline these. The ones that are blue already, and we've got yellow on there, right? We added the gold on there. We're just putting just a little bit of blue in there, a little bit of depth. I'm actually coloring, almost like there's shading up underneath there. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Just a little bit of shading up underneath. Not a lot, just almost just a little bit coming along. Oh, that's cool. Pretty, pretty. There we go. I think we are done good enough. Remember to always sign your coloring, guys. Grabbing a pencil over here. Always sign. Because it's so cool when you come back and you want to do like March or 2002, 3. because who knows? You may become famous. Never say never. And it's fun to go back because if you stick with this and you join up over on Patreon and you get your free coloring page every week and you come and listen to the video with us, at the end of the year you're going to have 50 to 52 pages that you've colored. You're going to have a beautiful coloring book, and what'll be really interesting is you're going to go back through and you're going to notice how your coloring has changed, how you've gotten better, how you've gotten a style, how you've learned little techniques and stuff like that. And you'll see from when you began to where you are at the end of the year. And it's always really fun to have that too. So beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow in these. These guys are getting a little bit lost. See, this is what happens. I can't stop. I can't stop. That brings some in there. All right, guys. I love you. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited that you're here. I, want to welcome all of our new people who have been joining over on Patreon, becoming part of the Sacred Space Coloring Corner family. And I want you to know that I really appreciate that you guys are finding an interest in this because this is something that I just love to do. And it's always more fun to share it with others. So thank you for being here, my friends. We will see you next week. And I hope you have a beautiful end of your week, beautiful weekend. And keep coloring. Keep coloring. I love you. We'll see you next week.